Okay, so I just got this Ariens rear engine router from the scrapyard today. Unfortunately has a horsepower Tecumseh engine on it, but I got it for 45 bucks. Pretty much everything works on it except for the deck. The deck doesn't, the PTA, well, the blade engagement thing doesn't go in all the way. I mean, I think the spring or something is just not putting enough tension on it, so it doesn't really cut very well. But it's like just always on when you're, even if it's off, so it's just always spinning. It's not really got much power to it, but the drive system works on it. The electrical system I haven't really messed around with. I tried to turn on it. I didn't get any click from the solenoid. I need to put a wire on it. There was no starter with this thing, so I had to put another starter on it. And these starters are really annoying sometimes when you don't put it on correctly, and then you end up stripping out your bolts on the block, and it's just a mess. I did get this thing running. It does run, but like it didn't come with the air filter cover or the air filter, and the pull starter. I think it had a pull starter on it, but I don't want to spend $30 on a pull starter. I'll just rather find one somewhere or just put a cover on it. But it runs pretty good for a Tecumseh, and I'll do a startup on it. It's still warm. Hopefully the starter will engage. Take it off choke. Still engaged. It doesn't idle the smoothest, but it runs. But I can't figure out why the deck just won't stop spinning. So it's probably not really a big deal. It's just the deck. One of these tires was flat when I got it, but it seems to hold air now. I did paint the shroud with some Rust-Oleum. Don't ever use the stuff called Krylon, whatever. It's just not worth it. It doesn't. You have to put like 20 coats on it for it to work. And Rust-Oleum seems to work fine, and plus it looks better. The Krylon, they only had a pumpkin color, and that's really not what this looks like. It's more like a darker orange, as you can see. Well, I'm gonna have to paint over that anyway. So, and I might have to sand this off because it drips too. But it's just that when you paint over, you can still see through it, so I just don't like it that much. I'm probably going to have to replace the solenoid on this, so I'm going to put my meter on there and see if I get 12 volts when I turn the key, so just have to see about that. I don't know if the charging system works either. There was a wire that was stripped off and then put back on there, but I don't know. Got a little bit of stuff going on. I got this water pump, both of these water pumps for $5 each. That one's a Wisconsin engine. It's got a problem with the needle for the float needle won't come down because it's just so rusted in there. I mean, I tried sanding it off, but it still won't come down, so I'm thinking about just taking a Tecumseh or a Briggs one and put it in there, or one with a rubber tip. This one has points, so I can't necessarily get any spark out of it, and I've taken the flywheel off and messed around with the points and try to get them more, sanding them off, and it still doesn't get spark, so I'll mess around with that later. I think this wire that I clipped, that I sanded off and then put back on, I don't think I sanded it off enough, so just have to mess around with that. This one I need to take the handlebar off and replace it with that handlebar, because I'm not going to take that engine off and put it on that one. I'm just going to keep that deck there as a spare, spare wheels, spare whatnot, and just leave this one on that one, and then paint the rusted up spots, and then I'll get it sold. And I got some parts for it. I got a gas tank and carburetor assembly. Also got just a bucket of parts that I can use. Got this tiller. It's a Rally with a 5-horse Briggs. It does run, but I had to sand off the valve because the valve was stuck open and it was just rusted tight in there, and the crankcase is filled with water, and there was no spark plug in it, so it just let water get into the engine. So tank is rusted too, so I cleaned it out and cleaned out the carburetor. It seemed to work too, so it runs now, but it just doesn't run very good. I need to put a gasket or something on this muffler because it still sounds like it doesn't have a muffler on it. So, and it's just kind of loose too. So I need to get an air filter for it too, air box. I also got this battery. It's like a wheelchair battery, but I'll use it from like my solar panel project. It might work. It's a 55 amp hour sealed battery, so it might work okay. This battery I got for the golf cart. I traded one of the other golf cart batteries that were messed up, and this one I'm just letting it sit on the charger, and I put some water in it, see if it'll hold charge. Got that battery also, and got that one right there. I might put that one in the Ariens, because if you put that battery, or really any battery in there, the seat always touches it, and the seat can't always go down. So I'm thinking about putting that one in there, maybe put it sideways or something, and it might work something out there. So yeah, got a quantum there I'm working on too. If somebody could tell me what is with these quantums, like why, if you can't prime them, let me know like what you can do about that, because I've tried just about everything with these, and like these, here's the I swap carburetors. I mean, they'll run. I mean, you can crank them, you can spray starter fluid in them and they'll crank and run fine, but when you let them sit and they get cold and then you crank it, it won't crank. And I primed it too. I put a gasket on it, everything, cleaned it out probably as much as I can. Done the same thing with both carburetors. They do the same thing. Somebody could give me some advice on those. I haven't done many quantums before, so that'd be great. This one rattles so much, so I'm probably just going to take parts off of it and just take the engine off and just trash the deck, because, well, the deck might be fine, but I don't know, it just feels like it's going to fall apart, so probably just need to tighten up everything on it. That one is just going to be a spare. That engine over there burns oil, so I'm just going to take the parts off of it and just chunk the block. And got that weed eater. And yeah. And I also painted some of the shrouds, like on the snapper. That's just an old, that's an 8-horse shroud, but it was on another engine, but I don't have it anymore. That one on the rear engine snapper that I got down at the down where all my stuff is, and I just painted it to make it look better, because it just looked like junk. This Honda still doesn't run. Still can't get it to fire. I don't know. I just gotta mess around with it and see if I can get it to work. I think it's just a plug. I'm not sure. It's kind of tight. Not really, but I don't know. I just have to mess around with it. Just really haven't bothered with it. So yeah, somebody could give me some advice on that push motor, because I really haven't done any quantums. I just do these because they're easy to find. So yeah, I also need to get that battery traded out because it's no good. That one might be fine because it can crank stuff over. So yeah, got some good stuff going on. That one needs to be parted and junked, and that one is still good. Solo panel, I still need to build a frame for it. This one, I just got a piece of plexiglass for it. It's pretty thin and it's bendable, but it should work. It was only $20, so should last a good while. But it was almost exactly the right size. I might just keep it like that. But I need to screw down the middle of this panel because it's just starting to warp. So yeah, and I'm pretty much going over the 10-minute thing, so yeah, thanks for watching.